Not so much like you don't want better or don't want a different outcome or don't want to grow. Those things can be there. You can necessarily have that drive, but if you don't necessarily know what to do. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ryder, and in today's video we're talking about moving on. As always, I come to you not claiming to be an expert in any shape, form, or fashion, but honestly just as someone who has noticed like more peace, more joyful days, and just like a drastic transformation. So I hope to share some perspective without any judgment, just kind of, adding like a different perspective that maybe hadn't been considered, or just understanding something to where that kind of helps you in your journey as well. If it is helping, then don't be a stranger. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video also. But without further ado, let's get right into today's topic. So moving on can be difficult. I don't even want to say can be, because like it is difficult. I think there's no person that doesn't have any issue with trying to progress and change. Even in work, like just to be honest, whether it be career or work or people or relationships, moving on and trying to change can be difficult. So, and a lot of times I think that is because not so much like you don't want better or don't want a different outcome or don't want to grow. Those things can be there. You can necessarily have that drive, but if you don't necessarily know what to do in place of what you were doing, I think that, for me personally, is where some of the difficulty comes from. When I say difficulty, I mean like the gap between knowing and not knowing, where you want to do something different, but it's just kind of hard to find what you're supposed to be doing there. So I'm going to talk about some positive space fillers, and not like space fillers like avoidance behavior or ignoring something. I'm just saying, like, for instance, okay, if you want to stop a certain habit that you have, say you go out and you socialize a lot, or you drink a lot, and no judgment, I'm just saying, say that's something that you personally want to change. But if you're always doing that and that's kind of been your thing to do whenever you're bored or alone, kind of like finding groups or whatnot to like go out and just kind of party. Say you want to change, say you want a more calmer, like a different pace of life, then you might actually want that, but because that's kind of all you know, you might have difficulty in like, what do I do when I want to connect with others, when I want to relax and kind of unwind and feel good about myself. So that's what I mean as far as like positive space fillers, things that you can do in place of that behavior. I'm going to share I think like 5 different things that I've kind of written down. But another thing I want to mention before I forget, because like squirrels are always everywhere for me, is you are your biggest investment. You are like worth it. Invest in you. Something that I think about is like, I want to live until I'm 116 years old. That might sound like crazy, but somehow at some point that number just stuck with me. I had a great grandmother who lived until she was 101, and she did like lots of things still on her own. She wasn't driving, but she was still taking care of her household. She was still being inspiring to me. She was still cooking and baking like at 101. So maybe that's kind of like where that longevity comes from. But when I think about that number helped me to care about my like health and wellness overall. And something that I've recently thought about with that number is, if you are really going to live to 116 years old, and maybe your number is 80 or maybe your number is 90, but I think it's important to like be like definite with yourself and not kind of be elusive or just kind of think about it. But for me, if I'm going to live until I'm 116 years old, there is a lot that I'm going to have to live through and overcome. So I better sharpen up, toughen up, buttercup, okay? And I mean that in the funny, loving, cute way, not in a way of like making light of life's challenges. I'm just saying that to be light. But it just helps me to put things into perspective, like invest in myself, because if I'm going to live to 116 years old, I'm going to need to be in good health. I'm going to need to know how to be a great caretaker. I'm going to need to know how to be mentally strong. I'm going to need to know how to pour into myself, because at 116 years old, your parents are likely going to be gone. Okay, so you're gonna have to toughen up, buttercup. And I don't mean to say that again, like, you know, if someone's actually going through something like that. I'm just saying it to myself, kind of like forecasting that if you're going to live this life, if you're going to be happy, if you're going to be healthy, you're gonna need to invest in yourself. You're gonna need to build onto yourself. You're gonna need to read and to stretch and to grow, because you might be without your parents one day or your loved ones. You might, you know, have to be a caretaker. There are so many things that could go on, and not to say in a scary way. When I say that, it gives you your power back, because instead of me thinking of it as like being afraid of those things, because no one wants to lose their parents, no one wants to lose a loved one at all. But if you can have an idea, an understanding that might be in the future, that might occur, you can prepare for it. So the power is in the preparation, that you do have some foresight to understand that, hey, that might be a possibility for me one day. Let me enjoy the people that are in my life now. Let me get physically healthy, just in case I have to care for a loved one. You know, all those kind of things. You'd hate to have to be trying to get yourself together at the point of a crisis. And I don't mean to be like down. I kind of just wanted to put that into perspective of why you should invest in yourself. You're going to be with yourself for a very long time. And I say all of that with love, just with kind of like an honesty and understanding that those things are likely to happen if we're blessed to live a long life. So we might as well take advantage of the opportunity that we have now, the wisdom that we have now, the resources we have now, the youth that we have now, and relationships to be better, to get stronger. So let's get into some of the things that I've personally done to like change behaviors when it comes to moving on. So if there's something that you're doing and you want to replace that behavior, or you want to grow, or just, you know, do things to where you're more like peace filled, one of the things I've done is, don't cringe, scrapbooking. Okay, so I know that you likely have, like I do, tons of pictures on your phone that are literally just sitting in a cloud somewhere and you're paying for storage. So this is a great time to, not that you're necessarily like putting in maybe an action that you feel will directly benefit you, but just that time where you're going through those pictures that you've taken, and you know, you can like literally send those pictures anywhere and have like 50 or 100 pictures printed out. And then when you get around to getting your book, because there's so many books, there's so many stickers that you can get, you can put that all together. But I think this allows you to kind of savor those memories, savor those moments, and then just kind of be at peace, like kind of learn to be at peace with yourself, not having to have a lot going on around you, some unwind time, I think. So I think that's one thing that's really kind of relaxing and fun to do. Like I think it like lines up in that category with hobbies. Now, whether you have hobbies that, you know, make you some money on the side, or, you know, where you learn a new skill, or that you can start to do with friends, you know, I think all of those things will help you to establish your own identity, to see what you like or don't like. And maybe scrapbooking is not for you, and that's like, what? But anything, like, get into something. I think what I'm trying to say there is establish a hobby. And if you don't know what your hobbies are, then that's even better, because everything can be tried at this point. Like a dance lesson, which is something that I really want to do, taking dance lessons, or like I said, scrapbooking, or joining like a city league sport, you know. I think all those things will be great, because they'll help you to build confidence in yourself, because you'll have to like form new relationships, learn new skills. And I think that's very helpful when it comes to moving on. Like I said, whether it be from relationships or work. And I know work might sound like, what, moving on from work? But work, you're there a lot of times, like probably if not more times than you are at home. And so you form a lot of relationships there. You have a lot of stress there sometimes, expectations and things like that. So sometimes, some days, and some jobs, when things just don't go your way and you want to move on from that, but it's like you're ruminating on it and it's in your head, like, why did this happen? Or why is that person like that? Like, sometimes we have to, okay, that's over, that's done. Let's try to extract the lesson from that. And then let's also reestablish ourselves, rebuild our own self-confidence, and like, you know, better figure out who we are. So hobbies is a great way to do that. Hobbies can be like a coverall. So I wanted to kind of talk about different things and like what hobbies actually can do for you. Like I said, confidence building, which is super important in almost anything that you're going to be doing. Another thing that's in the hobby category, but it's super fun and it's going to go into like your health, is gardening. Now, I would start with like a spice or an herb, because to me that's easier, and like you get once that herb takes off, it's like it grows quickly, and then you can use it in like your cooking, and like you're proud of yourself. Things like that definitely help you move on, because you are gaining skill, you're gaining knowledge, you're having to grow something, water something, nurture something, and that's valuable. You're adding value to yourself, and that's adding like boosting your confidence. So don't sleep on gardening. It might sound, depending on who you are, like, what are you talking about? But do not sleep on gardening. And then when you see things taking off, then, it just gives you, like I said, that confidence. Now, and if you see things dying, because I've definitely witnessed some things dying, then you can learn, okay, maybe I need to pay attention to someone else to learn how they do this and how to do this. So it helps you to be more aware too, because sometimes we might be thinking like, oh, it's not me, I don't need to do anything, and then you kill a plant and you're like, you know what, I could stand to learn a lesson or two from somebody. Something else you could do is like focusing on yourself. If it's like learning how to do a lip combo with lipstick, or some new foundation, or some skincare, vitamins, things like that. Any like health and beauty thing, that's always fun, because you get to see like a instant value to yourself added when you get to like revitalize your skin and you feel better. Like that's something you can see on the outside of your person that also helps you move on like all the time. And do not sleep at all, which I probably should have put this first, on exercising. Even if you're not a runner and you just walking, oh my God, I need like in the future I'm gonna do some videos related to like mental health, and not mental health in the topic of like that sounds heavy and it sounds like a lot to think about. No, just anyways, whatever. Video coming soon. But walking, getting outside, moving, even if you're not doing something where, okay, let me get outside for 30 minutes, I'm gonna walk, or let me go to the gym for this amount of time, I'm gonna do this. Like, just get outside and garden, just get outside and rake the leaves, just get outside and sit in the sun. I was reading somewhere where it said like exercising, and don't quote me if you need, because I'm not sure the needs of everybody, but what I read was suggesting allegedly that working out was like just as effective as medication for mild to moderate depression. That is just how powerful being out in the sun, moving your body, and being out in nature helps your mental health. So do not sleep on moving your body and literally just getting outside. Like, if you can't think of like, oh, I've got to go to the gym, or I've got to go to the park and I got to get workout clothes, don't even think about all that. Just think about, let me get out of the house. And then once you're out of the house, you can figure out like what to do from there, whether it's like I said, tidying up the yard, or saying, I'm gonna go to the park and read, or whatever. Get outside. That's gonna boost your your mood and things like that, which will definitely help you move on and just be a happier, healthier, peaceful person. Another thing is research, and maybe because I'm slightly a nerd in that way, but researching anything that I find fascinating, whether it be growing a watermelon or planning a trip or a career change. If I find something that I'm interested in, research is like, oh my God. It builds so much self-confidence, because now you have so much more knowledge. It builds excitement, just some self-esteem, some layers to your character and value, because like you've like added this information to yourself. Like the excitement comes from doing like what you're going to do and the planning. So don't sleep on research. Don't sleep on looking things up, and like those all tie into moving on, because it's a distraction, but it's like helping you do something different. You're putting your energy into yourself and forgetting about whatever it was you were worried about in a positive way. So as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope these videos add lots of value to your life. I hope that they, kind of stay on point for the most part and line up so that it makes sense. And as always, no judgment, just here to add a different perspective. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys real soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.